I'll be talking about the theoretical debate about minorities and majority. Indian constitution accepts that there are minorities. That is why we have linguistic commissions, we have minorities' rights, and we have the chairman of minorities' rights. So Indian constitution accepts this fact. And it also accepts that people have got diverse customs and practices. That is why in certain states, some food items are restricted, whereas the same food items are allowed in the other state. Also in some states, certain marriage relationships are not recognized. However, the constitution says if the customs allow it, then the same prohibited relationship can be carried out in the other states. So this is the first fact, that the constitution recognizes the concept of majority and minority. Now, how do we get majority in any sector or any country? People who are in majority, if they decide that we will not give rights to minority, we cannot remove this, because this is the concept of democracy, where 10 people decide that the rights of the 3 people should not be given. We cannot raise a voice against it, because when we believe in the system of democracy, it is deciding it. That happens with majoritarian democracy, but India is not a majoritarian democracy. We have got constitutional democracy, where the actions by the governments are governed and controlled by the constitution. And that is where the role of judiciary comes into. Judiciary ensures that the rights of the minorities are protected. Next question. Can majority take away the right of majority? The answer is yes. In 1967, there was a referendum in Australia deciding whether the original inhabitants of Australia, who are called Aboriginal, they should have right or not. The sample size was 90%, and 90% of the population decided that the original inhabitants of Australia, they should not get any voting right. Long drawn process, 40 years of hard work, another referendum was taken, and then this time they decided no, the Aboriginals do have a right. So the concept is majority can decide minority. It is the constitution which is the safeguard. Point number 2, in New Zealand, which does not have any written constitution, the rights of the minorities was decided by whom? No constitution. It was a treaty between the majority and the minority. So when you don't have a constitution, the majorities have to take lead, and they have to guarantee the rights of the minorities. And the same thing happened in Canada and Norway as well. I will try to finish within 9 minutes, inshallah. The time given is 10 minutes. I will finish in 9 minutes, inshallah. Tabarak wa ta'ala. Now, what are the problems and how do we get this? The problem is polarization. The problem is media, and the problem is the institutions becoming ineffective. In a 2022 referendum carried out to decide the trust the citizens of a country have on their 3 institutions, India, 70%, 7 out of 10 people, they voted in favor of the institutions. Now the big question is, what about the 3 people who were not satisfied? Because in the majoritarian government, the party which comes to power, they think that why should we care for that segment of the society which is not voting for us? So it's a long drawn process where judiciary, where media and people's perceptions have to be changed if we want India as a country, whether we call India or Bharat. And just to add what Maulana Ilyasi Saab said, the name India was used in 200 CE. We have got Ptolemy's map. It was not the British who gave this word, it was used in the Ptolemy's time. So whether we call it India or Bharat, because constitution has accepted both the words, the problem is, the issue is, how do we survive? The only guarantee is constitution. We are born here, inshallah we'll die here, we'll be buried here. So we have to safeguard constitution. It is the role of the young officers, especially the judicial officers and the lawyers sitting here, that you have to look after. Inshallah, once some of you will become judge, and it is your responsibility to see that whichever party or government comes into power, the laws and the policies which are made by the government of the time should not be against the constitution. Last point, what is the solution for the problem? First, creating general awareness. Second, avoiding media polarization. Third, creating these kind of scenarios where people from different backgrounds, religious, linguistic minorities, etc. They can come together, sit and exchange their views. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.